We come together to mourn the passing of Estelle Berry. Our hearts are broken, and we feel as if everything is lost and gone. This is not true, because we believe that God has given us that her life is better than what we have lost. Lost is the physical body. The person who walked by our side for over 70 years. What is left for us to remain behind are the memories of a person who has filled our lives with love and deep-rooted values, of a person who inspired us throughout our lives, and that cannot be taken away from us. The memory of Estelle Berry will always be with us as long as we are able to walk the face of this earth. We begin our service with the recitation of psalms and prayers, thus linking Estelle with the 3,000-year-old tradition of the people of Israel and the eternity of God. What a precious find, Venacious Isle, a woman of valor. The earth is far beyond rubies. Confidence in her and lacks no good thing. She is good to him, never bad all the days of her life. She opens her hand to the needy and extends her hand to the poor. She is clothed with strength and splendor. She looks to the future cheerfully. She opens her mouth with wisdom. Her tongue is guided by kindness. She oversees the activities of her household and never eats the bread of idleness. Her children come forward and bless her. Her husband praises her and says, "Many women have done superbly, but you surpass them all. Charm is deceitful and beauty vain. The very woman is much to be praised. Extol her for the fruit of her hand wherever people gather." It's one of pure kindness and an honor. All those who are capable and willing are encouraged to come forward at this time and place several shovelfuls of earth gently into the grave. It's original identity. However, the tree is not considered uprooted and severed from its source if it remains attached by even the tiniest root. It can be as small as a needle. Talmud tells us that even a minuscule root preserves the original identity of the tree and exempts it from the restrictions of the Orla, not being allowed to partake of its fruit. Friends, we are assembled here today to mourn the loss of whose sweet fruit nourished a generation of wonderful children. It is like a tree old and torn and reaching the end of life, but not entirely uprooted, because not one is firmly attached to the source of life. You, precious children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, sister, brother, in-laws, are the guarantors of your dear Estelle that you carry on your hearts, and through your deeds, your priorities, your social behavior, as exemplified by Estelle, that will continue to sustain your family for generations to come. For you, she will continue to live on, and will continue to live in your hopes, in your homes, in your fields of work. Your way of life is a credit to your mother-in-law, grandmother, sister, and your deeds will proclaim her the Jewish doctrine of life everlasting. With this in mind, you could say that Estelle Berry's life was interrupted, not terminated, because her devoted offspring, like the small roots that were mentioned in the Talmud, bridged this deep chasm of what was, what will be. It's like eradicating death by affirming love and life. Estelle's ethical, giving nature, independence, and ambition, these qualities will find renewal in your ethics, your convictions, your ambitions, your emotions. You will continue to bring forth fruits of morality and love. Estelle Berry was born on October 9th, 1949 in New York City. She moved with her parents to Los Angeles when she was 11 years old. She and Dana met in high school. They were married for 54 years. Estelle was originally trained to be a dental assistant, but that never came to fruition. She went back to school in her 40s, received a master's degree in marriage and family counseling. She spent many years working for the LA Department of Social Services. She also ran a private practice of her own at one time. She was a family therapist and particularly known for her work with children. She had an infant daycare. She ran from out of her home. She was involved with Weight Watchers. Always passionate about her work, helping others, sure that children were looked after, always giving more than receiving. And it's true, she did know everything about babies. So whenever there was a question, she was the child care aficionado. Everybody called her. She was at one time involved with Temple Beth Hiller, Hollywood. She and Dana had fond memories of the annual hospital and the Seder in the desert. Estelle enjoyed all sorts of crafting projects, including scrapbooking, candy making, sweatshirts, and other bedazzled articles of clothing. There was the Mazel Top's endeavor, where she created custom yarmulkes, kippot, that could be ordered in quantities as small as 5, because they were each uniquely hand-painted. She also liked playing blackjack and mahjong. And at one time, she was a Tupperware representative back in the Homestead, Florida days, early 1970s. Such great Jewish holidays with special meals, potatoes, children, there's nothing more important to her than they were. Boys called Regina. They adored her. Feelings, of course, are mutual. She showered them with boundless attention. Actually, she was considered to be the grandmother of many, because there were so many hearts that she touched. To quote her family, she was devoted beyond imagination. This time I'm going to call upon a few of them to share a few words with you on a personal level. First up is Gideon.
My auntie Estelle was the first good thing in this world. Sorry. If there was one word that describes her in my mind, it was the word giving. She gave so much of herself to everyone in her life. She gave by loving and helping all the people around her. That was her true nature. She taught me love, and she taught me maybe even more about forgiveness. Estelle showed me that you never give up on those who love, because the people who we love are our whole world. She also showed me that those are the people who will never give up on us, especially when we lose our way. I especially believe, I sincerely believe that there are very few who loved as fiercely and as unconditionally as she did. I feel so lucky to be someone she loved. I feel distinct guilt that I could not be there for her in her final days and months. Not just to see her, but to take care of her at least a little bit, like she took care of everyone for her entire life. I know she would want me to forgive myself, and that she would forgive me for it. But forgiveness does not come quite as easily to me. So this will be my quiet purpose going forward, to do my best to embody her qualities just a little bit more. That way I can honor her memory as best I can. I love you, Auntie Estelle. I wish I had a chance to say goodbye while you were still here.
And Craig.
I wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you. She welcomed me with such love and care to the family.
She was such a great mother and grandmother to my children. And it really showed the first time my nieces were in town. And we were celebrating the holidays. And she made sure that my nieces had just as many gifts as all the other children. Taking care of them, looked after. She was just so delighted to be around children. And just can't figure out what she has done for this family. Last thing I wanted to say was we were getting she had made a comment. She just wanted to get a photo of Josh, Sarah, and myself, and she had mentioned that she had 3 children. And it just meant the world to me. Estelle was such a kind, loving person. For all 3 years of love and services.
Family and friends knew no limits. Estelle's unwavering courage and resilience facing her significant challenges in the last 8 years demonstrated her determination to carry on against any odds that were stacked against her. There is no question that her determination to be here in the South added valuable years to many loving experiences with all of us. Estelle and I were born in New York City, and we moved to Los Angeles when we were 11 and 8 respectively. When we settled into school, she into grade 7 and me into grade 4, she immediately found a friend group that was the subject of my endless envy. And she maintained these relationships for the next 60 years. Her kindness, gentleness, and consideration for others began early and was a characteristic of hers always. If a friend of Estelle's was in a difficult situation at home, they would come to live at our house until that situation was resolved. Over her high school years, we had a number of guests who were having family conflicts, and she would gently ask our parents if that person would come to stay for a day, a week, or a month. After her marriage to Dana, they moved to Homestead, Florida, for him to finish his Army service. During that time, my mother needed emergency eye surgery, and Estelle managed to arrange for the Army to allow for compassionate leave, so the two of them could return to Los Angeles permanently. She could help care for our mother. These selfless acts were something that Estelle would do without ever being asked to. Her immense facility for seeing when people she loved most. When Josie and Sarah came along, her love, energy, and proficiency at parenting was extensive. Not only did she parent her children, but she would parent anyone and everyone else's child if they needed assistance, advice, or guidance. In time, that led her to opening her home daycare, which brought out both a nurturing and creative outlet for her proficiencies. Years after the daycare closed, Estelle and I would run into a daycare parent when we were out shopping, having lunch out in the valley, only to have them enthuse and appreciate what Estelle had done for their child Hanukkah parties were epic. Our family attended from Canada almost every year, and every year we would find another dozen new people she had selected to attend and needed her attention. It was awesome to see her ability to include one and all in her celebrations. Estelle's Yiddishkeit was very important to her. She loved to celebrate the holidays with family and friends. She invited people nowhere else to go. It was a special talent of hers to open her house and welcome friends and family so deeply. As she moved into her next career and finished her BA and then completed her master's in marriage and family counseling, we could not have been prouder of her accomplishments. She went back to school in her 40s while working full-time, running a household with 2 children. As always, her drive and fortitude led the way to her success. In her years at the LA Department of Children's Services, Estelle was given the most difficult of cases to work with, the extraction of children from violent or drug-addicted families. She was able to do so with kindness and decency. Not once did she have an issue in all her years with the department. Her supervisor commented that, quote, she brought a humanity to her cases and taught everyone so much. As an aunt, Estelle's relationship with my own children was unique and exceptional. She was the best example of an involved family member that I have ever seen. My children will benefit from her involvement and love in their lives forever. The special attachment that they all had with her was beautiful, loving, caring, warm, and affectionate. She always said yes, and always had special treats and presents for them. But most importantly, she always lit up when she saw them, spoke to them, or spoke about them. Her loss to them will be profound. When our father became ill, Estelle coordinated with our mother to arrange his care. She made herself available regardless of whatever was going on in her life at the time. When our mother became ill many years later, Estelle coordinated her care with me, although I was thousands of miles away. She included me in every decision and respectfully listened to my answers and reactions. I always felt that she was available to me during those difficult years to focus on what I needed to say and express and to be compassionate and understanding. Ariel arrived when their first child, Cody. Estelle flew to Minneapolis for his bris. She asked Ariel if she could be called Granty because she wanted a special role in the next generation's lives as well. And to no one's surprise, she continued her tender care for Kobe and then for Noah. And of course, when Jonah and Kayla had shy Izzy 2.5 years ago, she enveloped him in her love also. Sarah and Craig's marriage at the birth of Alexander and Anna were the pièce de résistance for Estelle. She was 10 feet off the ground, joy and happiness to have grandchildren of her own. As you can well imagine, she smooched them with so much love and adoration, even as her medical condition started to challenge her life. As Estelle's health troubles continued, her resolves doubled down. Any issue that arose was met with a strength and internal energy that was incredible to observe. When my son Jonah was to be married in 2018, Estelle was experiencing a significant foot infection, was on IV antibiotics and unable to walk, but she was not missing her nephew's life. So she attended the wedding in a wheelchair with her private nurse by her side. She even hosted the day after brunch. But that was Estelle. She was a force not to be stopped. And when Sarah and Craig told her that they were moving from Los Angeles to Aiken, South Carolina, she did not hesitate to say, okay, I am coming too. I remember saying to her, are you nuts? You have lived in LA all your life. Your friends are here. Your medical team is here. Without batting an eye, she said, my kids and my grandkids are moving, and I am moving too. And she did. Over these last few months, Estelle experienced one medical crisis after another, while encircling her loved one with fierce resolve. When Jack and I arrived in Aiken on this past Monday evening, mere hours before her death, it was as if the last circle of love among so many was closed. She could pass away peacefully. May her wonderful blessing be easy.
So, unsurprisingly, the personality traits about my mom that I wanted to talk about. So, they're just so big. You know what I mean? Family came first. Period. And she started out by marrying a good man. Then she had a sister and I. She did everything she could for all of us all the time. Even though sometimes some of us might not have possibly deserved it entirely. Honesty. She didn't ever want us to feel like she lied to us. So when we came home with questions about the world that maybe other parents wouldn't have answered for a few years, we got real answers, with usually the promise not to tell the other kids, to spoil their illusions, possibly about guys in red and white hats around the holidays. Charity. In my hardest times, I've always tried to help everyone I can. And that is a direct lesson from my mother. If she ever thought about whether she could afford it financially, time-wise, emotionally, or spiritually, I never heard it. She just did it. If someone needed her help, whether it was one of her children or somebody she had hired to clean the house and had met once. If she could do anything, she did it. Forgiveness. None of us are perfect, and she didn't expect any of us to be. And when our imperfections came into the light, was she mad sometimes? Of course. But she never loved anybody any less. In my hardest moments, when I was sure that, and she had every right to have been done with me, and I told her so, she laughed, as if, how could I be so silly? Where would she ever go other than to be with her children? And of course, that leads into the unconditional love that she had for people. I can't even explain it. Over the amount of people that don't know with lots of funerals left over. She spent 54 plus years with me. Building, the love of her family, taking care of us at every turn. And for those of you who have followed any of the Facebook posts, you can see the effect this woman had. Just comment after comment of people, that's people I've never even heard of, because there's just so many who didn't just share their condolences, but have a personal moment, a story, something where my mom was super important to her, and where they loved her. And I guarantee she loved them. I guarantee she loved all of you, even if she didn't know you a ton, even if she didn't know her whole life. That's just who she was. And I think you're all aware of that.
We call up Michael.
Just because it's over doesn't mean her life didn't happen. It happened to all of us, and we will miss her forever. I met Estelle in 1962 in the 7th grade when we were walking to John Burroughs Junior High School on the same road she lived on Detroit. And we became fast friends. I then met my wife in the 7th grade outside my father married. And I introduced Estelle to my wife Charlotte, and they became soulmates. Even though we didn't see her every day, every week, every month, every year, it's a connection there constantly, and we knew it. She knew it. The following are not my words, they are the words of my wife. Dear Estelle, you know that the words are mine. The voice will need to be Michael's, since I cannot do so without crying. When Joshie called us with indescribable news that our dear friend had died, we were devastated beyond words and bombarded with hundreds and hundreds of memories. We had the privilege to be best friends with Estelle since junior high, over 60 years now. Nearly 60 years, more than most of the people here were even born. Estelle was friends with Michael, walking to school together. I met Estelle through Michael, and we quickly became fast and long-time friends. In our over 60 years, we never argued, no fight, and that is not easy to say about two teenage girls. As teenagers, we shared confidences about everything. We're friends. I had only one that counted. Family dynamics, life dreams, goals, and hopes. We spent hours talking on the phone. We used to say, telephone, telegraph, telestelle. No subject was off limits. No judgments were made. Just compassion and understanding. Estelle was an excellent listener, and then a talent she brought to professional life as a therapist many, many years later. As time went by, we became young browns. Estelle followed Dana as he entered the military and he settled in Homestead, Florida. It was so hard to have her far away, but we kept in touch with that land-wired telephone. Remember the land-wired telephone? Thankfully, Dana and Estelle were able to return to LA, and our lives continued. Life in Cerritos and then in Van Nuys. There was great joy when the families grew. There was great challenge. We had each other. Estelle was always at my side, and I was at hers. I think our strengths really came through at those times, and never underestimate the power and love of two moms. Estelle was truly one of a kind. She was a wonderful friend to many who needed a friend. She was generous beyond words with her time and her love, which truly knew no bounds. A dedicated wife to Dana, dedicated mother to Josh, Sarah, and the very proud Nina to Xander and Emmett. In recent years, we started each conversation with a further thought about the kids and grandkids. Nothing brought more joy than those two children. Brought joy also. Our casinos. For our getaways, we would take ourselves to a casino weekend. Vegas or more locally did not matter. There we would play the slot machine for hours, laughing and cheering when we hit a jackpot, playing with pennies. Around 3 a.m. we would head back to the room instead of sleeping. We started talking by 7 a.m. we were out of the game. But I could see her sitting in front of the slots, a few games of blackjack, and then we needed more money. I will miss our talks. I will miss knowing Estelle was only a phone call away, and so I appreciate Dana always taking my calls when she no longer could. Estelle, you fought a valiant fight with humor, ambition, love, and drive. You never gave up, you never gave in. You set a high bar as a person and as a friend. I know you are with your mom and dad now and will be watching over your family, especially Xander and Emmett as they grow into young men. I hope you will be watching me too. I know I will be watching you for my longest and dearest girlfriend. I love you. I will end with the words from Maya Angelou. Family isn't always about blood. It's the people in your life who you want and theirs. The ones who accept you for who you are. The ones who will do anything to see you smile and who love you no matter what. I am blessed to have known and loved my friend Estelle. I hope you can hear me and that all your pains and struggles are far behind and your soul is now free to run. Goodbye, Estelle. Goodbye, Squires.
Finally, Aria.
I grew up with many, many aunts in my life, but only one auntie. It wasn't really until this week that I started contemplating the unique differences between aunt and auntie. But I can assure you there are many. Aunties envelop you in their warmth and snuggles. Their special perfume, staying with you for many months between visits, very cozy. Aunties drive long distances for camp visitor days with all your favorite foods and special requests to only stay for a short hours. Aunties make you feel like you are one of their own kids, making sure you have matching jammies, comfy sleepover spots, and yummy treats. Aunties serve as role models, as inspiration, as aspiration. Aunties are great listeners and push you to reach your maximum potential. Aunties make great shopping partners and great vacation buddies. They're your greatest cheerleaders at life's most pivotal moments. I didn't realize that all these years I was quietly being trained for this pivotal, life-changing role. And I am now so lucky myself to be an auntie. I can only hope to encompass a fraction of warmth, knowledge, adventure, nurture, and matching jammies. My own nephew, Estelle and her. I'm so grateful.
Moment in our lives, we encounter gates behind which beckon the unknown. We have little choice but to enter. As we do, the gates swing shut behind us. We can never go back. The known, the comfortable, the safe, all these are in the past. Only the unknown, dangerous, the mysterious, the terrifying. Eventually we come to the final gate, the final closing, trail ends, leaving behind only memories of steps taken, leaps tried, race achieved, and shared. How do we honor this final gate? With tears, and stories, memories, love, food, friends, and with silence. Silence is the heart of death. Silence alone does it justice. Silence does not mean passivity. And our tradition speaks of four virtues that form the core of silence. The first is hearing the inner voice of our pain and love, rejoicing that nothing grave can rob us of that supreme human emotion. Second is memory, reclaiming the past by refusing to forget joys and constant. She had once lived, is now within us. There she cannot die. The third is action. We must honor our dead by continuing to live ourselves. Their memory is quickened only in the fullness of our own lives, our own futures, our own ongoing struggles to make sense out of an often senseless world. The fourth is wisdom. Every life is teaching, every person guides the truth. We must allow the wisdom that was Estelle Berry to become a part of ourselves, that her memory might lead us to a greater wisdom of our own. Hearing, memory, action, wisdom, may each of these find a place in our silence, our grief, and our moving out again into the world. And the gate beckons wide. Shortly before his death, Rabbi Zusha said, if they ask me why I was not like Moses, they will find an answer. But if they ask me why I was not myself, I will have nothing to say in reply. There's only one question. Who am I? There's only one challenge. Know yourself. Dust returns to the earth as it was, and the mind falls back to the source from which it came. Life and death, a twisted vine sharing a single root, one leaf atop another, yet under the next. A vibrant tapestry of arches and falls, all in the act of becoming. Death is the passing of life, and life is the stringing together of so many little passings. Friends, I'd like to acknowledge my friend and colleague, Jennifer Wood, the Executive Director of JCCFA, the Jewish Community Center, Federation of Augusta, for making the connection between the family and us. We appreciate that, Jennifer, and we appreciate everything that you do for us here in the community. Thank you for being here. Thank you all for being here this morning. The family will be sitting Shiva at their home in Aiken and receiving visitors from 6 to 8 in the evening. I'd like to ask you to please rise for the Esther Bat Abraham Shalachad Elama Began Eden Te Menufata Useror Bitzorna Payin Betanuat Beshalom Exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence, the holy and pure. The soul of Estelle Berry, to her eternal home. Merciful one, your eternal grace. May your soul be bound with life. May she rest in peace. And I say, Amen.